Hi everybody, it's Doreen, and I'm back today with a birthday card that I've made for my mother. And if you watch my video, I believe it was last year, I did a birthday theme of sewing for my mother for her birthday because she is a seamstress and she loves to sew. So I decided to stick with that theme again this year and make her a few things resembling what her favorite hobby is, which is sewing. So what does our card look like today? This is the card that we will be making, and as you can see, it's in the shape of a sewing machine. So come on and join me, and I'm going to show you how I made this card. Okay everybody, so let's go ahead, bring up the supplies, and we're going to get started with the card. Now I'm not going to show you how to lay this out on your mat because it's really simple to lay out on your mat, and I did use the print and cut feature for my inside sentiment. This is a Lori Whitlock silhouette file, and I will put the item number down in the description bar below, and I'll put it also up here in the video somewhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm just using some cardstock that I believe this is, I'm not sure if this is Recollection or not. I've had this cardstock for a while. So I'm going to go ahead and add my inside sentiment. Now to cut my inside sentiment, I just took the top layer of the card and made a duplicate of that, and then just went ahead and resized it a little bit so I could have that for my inside sentiment to use my print and cut feature. So I'm going to use the Tombow adhesive, and as you can see I got some of this of my sentiment on the back of here because I set my cameo to do the registration marks and the print and cut, and for some reason I set it on the original cameo rather than the cameo that I have. So my print and cut didn't come out right. So I just flipped it over because you know I don't like to waste cardstock. And just went ahead and put, or cut it out on the other side. So I want to make sure I get this on here right. So I need to pull that up for a second. I think I'm going to start here up at the top first, at the fold, and then I'll put the rest of it on. So there we have it. I've got a little bit over on the other side, so what I'll do at the end is I'll just go ahead, because I don't think I'm going to be able to get this up, I'll just go ahead and cut and trim that off. Okay, so now we're ready to add the rest of our layers. So I want to make sure that I get this scored on here flat. So let me get out my scoring tool if I can. I apologize for all the noise. So then I'm just going to go ahead and flatten this down just a little bit so it stays flat. And now we're ready to add the next layer. And this layer I've cut out with some Joann Fabric textured cardstock. And this layer kind of sits along here. But before we add this, there is a little bit of paper piecing in this, so let's go ahead and put our paper pieces on first. So what we have is the small piece right here, and I'm just going to bring up some scrap paper so I can get some glue on here. And I want to go ahead and add this, and this is just scraps of paper that I had that I'm using to do my paper piecing. So I'm going to take my tweezers, I'll move my scrap piece of paper for a minute there, and make sure I'm in the camera frame, and then what we're going to do is just add this piece that fits right along here. And then we'll add, now these are some very tiny pieces that you'll be adding, but thankfully it's not that many, so it shouldn't take you that long to add these on here. So I'm going to add this one, which goes right here, and I'm using my two-way press that down with my fingers rather than using my bone folder. So I'm just going to press that down there like so. And kind of press down on that. So now we have that piece. Now we're going to add the next piece, which is this little piece right here. And it goes right here. And you need to be very careful because this is a very delicate, tiny piece. So you want to go ahead and you get some glue on there. And I think we've got enough glue there. And I'm just going to add that right on top of the other piece. And like I said, it is a very delicate piece. So you just want to be careful when you add that. And then the last piece you want to add, and I just want to trim this just a little bit, is we're going to add our little spool here that's supposed to act as your spool of thread. So at the end of the video, I'm going to also show you the gifts that I've made for my mother for her birthday. And I stuck with the theme again of sewing because my mother is an avid sewer. She loves to sew. She's not into the scrapbooking and card making like I am, but she does sew quite a bit. So I still haven't gotten her, if you watch my video, I think last year I said I bought her a new sewing, or I gave her my old sewing machine because she was still using the original one that she bought several years ago. I was like maybe 4 or 5 when she bought this sewing machine. And so I gave her my old one when I bought a new one, but she still goes back to using the original one she has. She says she prefers that one over the other one. So whatever she likes, and then she loves to sew, doesn't matter to me. I just thought I'd give her a new one. So what I've done now is I've added the top layer. I figured I'd gone ahead and put that on as well, and then once we get this one on, we'll take and glue all of this to our card. So now this cardstock is from a paper pack that I used last year to make her gift. I believe it was last year. It's the Paper Studio pack, so it is from Hobby Lobby, and it's called Yarn and Threads. So I still have quite a bit of paper left, so I'm using that to go along with my theme again this year. So I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm going to use the Tombow for this as well. And I'm just going to make sure I get tape all along here. And then we'll be ready to add this portion. So I'm going to line this up, and you want to have a little bit of an edge to this. And the other thing that I've done is I've also gone ahead and inked this top layer with my Festive Berries Distress Ink by Tim Holtz. So now we have all of our pieces pieced together, and we're now ready to add this to the front of the card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the card so we can add this. And we're going to line that up like so. And then we'll just go ahead and we'll tape this down. So I'm going to use the Tombow again to tape this. So we'll get tape all along here. And I want to make sure you, the thread piece, we're not going to add any tape right there because there is no thread piece on this side. So we're going to add that, and don't add any along here and along here. And then we've got that little tiny piece that is supposed to be the needle. So with that, I'm going to use the Tombow for that piece. And I think we've got enough tape on there for sure. So if I decide I want to pull this up, I won't be able to, I'm sure. But I've always managed to get it up when I've needed to, if it's not taped on there right. And what I'm doing is I'm matching up. Okay, I apologize. I had to move my camera because it looks like I was way out of camera frame. So what I'm doing is I'm matching up the needle piece first, and then I'll go ahead and lay the rest of the card down. I just want to make sure I have that one piece lined up. And there we have the front of our card. So now there are some little small embellishment pieces that you can add onto the card to make it look more like an actual sewing machine. So I'm going to go ahead and finish adding those and add just a few little other embellishments on the front. I'm not going to put too much on here because I don't want to take away from the paper. So I'm going to do that and come back with the finished card, the envelope, and the rest of the gifts that I've made for my mother. Okay, everybody, so I'm back with the finished card. So this is what I've done for the embellishment. I just went ahead and took my one little dial piece that I had here, and I did some stitching around the top layer there using one of my Copic pens. And then I added this little, it was a button, and I cut the back off and glued that down, and it's a roses with a little bow. And then along here I went ahead and I took some pearl embellishments and added them down at the bottom. I didn't want to add too much because I didn't want to take away from the paper. And then right here where I had the other little dial, I just stuck a little button there in the center. And then once again, I've already put my inside sentiment in there and stamped out happy birthday. And then for my envelope, I just went ahead and used my We Are Memory Keepers envelope and made the envelope. And this paper is from a paper stack that I've used before. It's the Recollections Garden Florals. So, and it looks like this. And I use this a lot to make my envelopes. And then I went ahead and stamped out happy birthday on the envelope using the Tim Holtz Distress ink. I believe this is the Fire Brick. I'm not, whatever color I said that I ink my edges with, that's what this is. And I also went ahead and put a little balloon here. And this stamp set is from the Cricut Artiste stamp set that I picked up when I bought the Artiste cartridge. Now I don't use my Cricut anymore, but I still use these stamps. And then the other thing that I've done to keep in line with the sewing machine theme, I went ahead and made this little sewing machine box. And this is a Cutting Cafe file that I got off the Cutting Cafe website. I will put a link down in the description bar of where you can purchase this file. And so what I've done is I've gone ahead and cut it out, and I've added some leaves here along the side and a little flower, and I took and colored those in using my Yasatomo watercolor paints, and I added a little key charm down here at the bottom. And then also that comes with this file is a group of sentiments with a tag, and it basically just says, "May your bobbin always be full." And that's once again sticking with my sewing machine theme. And you also get this piece right here, comes with the file as well. And I just went ahead and used my print and cut, and I used a print and cut for this also to print this out. Or actually, what I did was trace the sentiment and then change the color, and then printed that out using the print and cut feature. So I've also got a little charm here that has the word goals on it, and I stuck a button here. And then down here at the bottom I've added some of the rose trim that I have, and of course I have my little bling down right here. And then this right here is just a piece of burlap scrap that I had left over. I just kind of cut this up into a square and then unraveled it some to act as like a piece of fabric on the sewing machine. And then right here, I don't know if you can see that, but this file also comes with spools, or things that you can make up into spools, and I took and wound some thread around that to make it look like a spool of thread. And then up here I went ahead and took some more thread and wound that around this piece as well. Now this is, like I said, it is a box, so along the side here you have this little pull tab that you can pull. Now you can either use ribbon or twine, whatever you like. And inside here I've stuck another spool that comes with the file, and I just wrap some trim around the spool. And then also I have a little gift in here. There's also a check, of course, for her birthday. And I've gone ahead and made this bracelet that looks like this to add inside the box. So that sits inside the box, so when she opens that up, she'll see the bracelet. I always try to make her a piece of jewelry every year for her birthday and Christmas. So that sits down inside like so, and it slides back in. Now Regina, I believe her last name is Easter or Easterland. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but she does have a video on how to put this together. So I'm not going to show you how to put it together, because she gives you really good instructions on how to put this together. And there's also included in that file, along with your sentiments and the box, sewing machine box, there's also a card that you can make that's exactly like this, except you just won't have the box here in the center. So I will put that link to her video in the description bar, as well as up here in the video. And then the last thing that I've made for my mother, she is a nurse and she works part-time. So I made this little bag, or it's not so little, but it's a bag for her to put in whatever she wants when she wants to take it to work with her. And as you can see, it has on the fabric some little nurses, so she can put her lunch or whatever she wants, a book, she does have a Kindle, inside here, and just cinch it up and then take that along with her. So that's it, everybody. This is the Mother's Day, I'm sorry, the birthday gifts that I've made for my mother for her birthday. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.